The PlayStation 3 launched in 2006 with an estimated manufacturing cost exceeding $800 for the 60GB model, yet retailed for $599. This immediate loss of over $200 per unit is not a failure, but a calculated financial strategy. This practice, known as the loss leader model, prioritizes rapid market penetration over immediate hardware profit. The primary objective is establishing a massive installed base of users locked into a proprietary ecosystem. The console itself functions as a subsidized gateway. The true profitability of the platform is derived entirely from recurring revenue streams generated over the console's typical 7-year lifecycle, fundamentally shifting the business focus from product sales to platform control. This model requires significant upfront capital investment and a high tolerance for initial quarterly losses, which are amortized by future software and service revenue. The speed at which a console achieves critical mass directly determines its long-term viability. A large installed base is the single most important factor in attracting third-party developers and publishers. These external partners require assurance that their investment in game development will reach a sufficient audience to generate returns. By pricing the hardware aggressively, often below cost, platform holders accelerate adoption, creating a self-reinforcing cycle. Early adoption generates buzz, which further incentivizes consumer purchases and developer commitment. This rapid scaling ensures that the platform becomes the dominant distribution channel for interactive entertainment, effectively locking consumers into a specific technological standard and digital storefront. The initial hardware loss is viewed as a customer acquisition cost, essential for securing the high-margin transactions that follow.
The core mechanism for recouping hardware losses is the royalty fee imposed on every piece of software sold for the platform. Historically, platform holders demand approximately 30% of the wholesale price for every physical or digital third-party game sold. This fee is non-negotiable and represents the cost of accessing the platform's user base and distribution infrastructure. For a $70 game, the platform holder receives around $21, regardless of the developer's profit margin. This revenue stream is high margin because the cost of goods sold for the platform holder is near zero, especially for digital sales. The cumulative effect of millions of game sales quickly offsets the initial hardware subsidy. This royalty structure is the financial bedrock of the loss leader strategy, ensuring that every successful third-party title contributes directly to the platform holder's bottom line. First-party titles, developed and published by the platform holder itself, represent the highest margin revenue stream. Since the platform holder owns both the intellectual property and the distribution channel, they retain 100% of the revenue, minus manufacturing or digital distribution costs. These exclusive titles serve a dual purpose. They are powerful system sellers, driving hardware adoption, and they are immediate profit generators. The development cost of a major exclusive is substantial, often exceeding $100 million, but the lifetime revenue generated by successful franchises like God of War or Halo can reach billions. Exclusivity is a critical competitive lever, preventing consumers from migrating to rival ecosystems and maximizing the return on the installed base already established through the subsidized hardware.
Modern console economics heavily rely on recurring revenue from digital services. Subscription models, such as PlayStation Plus and Xbox Game Pass, provide predictable, high-margin income streams. These services offer access to online multiplayer functionality and curated libraries of games, creating essential utility that users must pay for monthly or annually. Furthermore, the platform holder takes a cut, typically 30%, from all microtransactions, downloadable content, and digital storefront sales, including non-game media. This shift towards digital distribution increases the platform holder's control over the transaction and eliminates the costs associated with physical media manufacturing and retail distribution, significantly boosting overall profitability per user. The lifetime value of a subscriber far exceeds the initial loss incurred on the hardware purchase. The success of the loss leader model is contingent upon the predictable decline in component costs over time, driven by Moore's law and manufacturing efficiencies. The bill of materials, or BOM, for a console decreases significantly throughout its lifecycle. Semiconductor fabrication processes improve, leading to smaller die sizes, known as die shrinks, which increase the number of usable chips per silicon wafer and reduce power consumption. Yield rates, the percentage of functional chips produced, also improve dramatically after the initial manufacturing phase. These factors allow the platform holder to reduce the cost of manufacturing the console without changing the retail price. The point at which the BOM drops below the retail price is the break-even point, typically achieved 18 to 36 months after launch. After this point, every console sold generates a direct hardware profit, compounding the software and service revenue.
The PlayStation 3 represents one of the most aggressive loss leader strategies in history, primarily due to the complexity and cost of the Cell Broadband Engine processor and the inclusion of a Blu-ray drive. The Cell processor, co-developed by Sony, Toshiba, and IBM, was technologically advanced but expensive and difficult to manufacture, contributing heavily to the initial $800 BOM. Sony absorbed massive losses for several years, with estimates suggesting cumulative hardware losses reached billions of dollars before the console became profitable on a per-unit basis. The strategic inclusion of Blu-ray, however, helped establish the format as the industry standard for high-definition media, providing a long-term strategic advantage beyond gaming. This case illustrates the high-risk and high-reward nature of subsidizing cutting-edge technology to gain market dominance. Nintendo often deviates from the aggressive loss leader model, preferring to sell hardware at a profit or at least break even from day one. This strategy relies on utilizing proven, often less powerful components and focusing on unique hardware concepts that minimize direct competition with high-end specifications. The Nintendo Wii and the Nintendo Switch are prime examples. The Wii utilized readily available lower-cost components, allowing Nintendo to maintain a positive margin immediately. The Switch, while innovative in its hybrid design, uses mobile-grade processors that are cheaper than the custom silicon found in competing consoles. Nintendo's success is driven by highly desirable first-party intellectual property, which ensures consumers will purchase the hardware regardless of its technical specifications, allowing them to maintain higher hardware margins.
The current generation of consoles, including the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, saw launch prices closer to the estimated BOM than previous generations. This reflects a maturation of the market and a greater emphasis on digital ecosystem value. Microsoft, in particular, leverages the Xbox Game Pass subscription service as the central value proposition, viewing the hardware as a subsidized entry point into their content library. The shift to digital distribution means that the platform holder captures a larger percentage of total consumer spending compared to the physical retail era. Furthermore, the introduction of digital-only console versions lacking expensive optical drives allows for lower retail pricing while maintaining a healthier margin, accelerating the path to hardware profitability. Ultimately, the loss leader strategy is a long-term investment in market share and ecosystem control. The platform holder is not selling a product, they are selling access to a closed digital economy. The initial hardware loss is a calculated expense to secure a consumer's lifetime spending on games, services, and accessories. The financial success of a console generation is measured not by the profit on the box, but by the total revenue generated per user over the entire lifecycle, known as lifetime value. This model ensures that the platform holder benefits disproportionately from the success of the entire gaming industry, solidifying their position as essential gatekeepers in the entertainment technology sector.